I wanna feel some hate inside my heart, so let's see the worst types of anime characters.
When looking at any form of media, you'll usually find at least one character that follows a certain character trope. For those who don't know what a character trope is, it's essentially a trait that is easily recognizable that defines the character. For example, we've all seen character tropes like the Chosen One, the
I am exactly like Sasuke.
mad scientist, the jokester, etc. However, these character tropes are not created equally. Some are overdone and get stale, some just feel useless, and some are just extremely unlikable. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about my least favorite ones, even though a lot of them are my favorite characters in their respective series.
What?
Also,
You hate Yamamoto from Bleach? What the
there
fuck?
won't be manga spoilers, but there will be anime spoilers, so beware. First off, we're going to talk about the pathetic character. But we might as well call these
I have to say this. This is my favorite because I'm pathetic.
guys punching bags because they're practically the same thing. There are a couple characters that come to mind when I think about someone who's outright pathetic. Jerry from Rick and Morty, this bum. These guys are just spineless characters who never really stand up for themselves. They make
The guy from Rent a Girlfriend is really pathetic.
stupid decisions that make me angry, and they just start whining afterwards. But I really want to highlight one specific bum of a character, Takamichi from Tokyo Revengers. I am not hearing anybody out on, you don't understand his character. I have so many words I can use to describe this guy, but for now, we'll just say he's useless. When season 1 was coming out, I was on the hype train. I was seeing Takamichi getting beat up at first by
Like Jin-Woo from Solo Leveling. In the first episode, I think the first, second, and the third episode, he's so fucking useless. But then, almost every shonen is like that.
older students, and I was like, fine.
You have two types of shonen. When the character is super weak in the beginning, and when the character is always strong, like Goku.
That's understandable. Maybe he'll get better as time goes on and get some dubs.
But I have to say, I prefer when the character is really weak in the beginning. Because I want to see the
I was
growth.
clearly wrong. A majority of the time, this guy's just getting his face broken in. But you know, not every MC needs to be a fighter. We don't need to have ooga booga, me punch hard every single time. Lelouch is a great example of that. He uses his intelligence to win many battles in the series. Unfortunately, Takamichi isn't even that smart either. I feel like with
What a terrible frame.
his ability to travel back 12 years into the past, he should be able to get more things done. And nobody better tell me that it's a realistic depiction. If you had the ability to go back 12 years with your knowledge now, you're telling me that you'd mess it up as bad as Takamichi? For example, he knows he can't fight, so he should have been armed himself. I know they consider it dirty, but you already decided to become a delinquent. If people are
he needs to come back with a Glock.
willing to murk others over some territory beef, you gotta do what you gotta do. These are middle schoolers who are capable of knocking out people with a single kick while
Whoa, cool hair.
carrying someone else on that same leg. This should be your note to start learning how to box. He also tries to fix things in the past, but ends up failing so many times. He knows that Baji getting packed is the reason why Mikey starts to spiral down. So his bright idea is to hold Baji's waist. And guess what? Baji gets stabbed because he couldn't protect himself. There are way
This guy's always getting beaten.
more instances of him just failing to make things better because of his own incompetence. But to be
Man,
honest,
I think you have I don't know, a 3-hour compilation of this guy getting his ass kicked.
I just don't feel like going through them. Also, this bozo can see that his living conditions are not the best in the future. Like, look at his room. So maybe instead of just falling face
this is my room.
first trying to save your middle school girlfriend,
No, it's not my
you
room.
get
My
out
room's
of the
better.
gang life and focus on school. But I think the worst part about this guy is the fact that all he does is just cry. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with crying, but it's literally all he does. People say
My superpower is crying. I have the greatest power in the world. I can cry for 13 hours straight.
that Deku cried too much, but Takamichi's nickname is Crybaby Hero. If he's not getting beat up, he's crying. How can I take this guy seriously, especially since he's the main character? This guy was the main reason why I stopped watching after season 1. I'm not gonna sit there watching the MC get beaten to a pulp every single episode just to make a dumb decision to cry about.
Yeah, if you're a little sadistic, you can have fun with that.
Any character like this in the show already gets my blood boiling. So when it's the MC who's acting like this, it's just amplified. Like, I'm low-key getting heated just talking about him. Let me move on. Next up, we got the strong character. And not just any character who's like top 10 strongest in the verse. I'm talking about a character who's portrayed to be top 1 or almost top 1 in their series, with overpowered abilities that basically no one can match. My
Yeah, this is Jin-Woo. Jin-Woo is so... Jin-Woo from Solo Leveling, he's both of this. He's the weakest and the strongest.
views on this trope can vary for me depending on whether the main character or a side character is unbelievably broken. And I know you may be thinking, what's your problem with it? Let me cook real quick. I want to focus on a side character being the strongest.
I think Jin-Woo from Solo Leveling, he maybe he matches every stereotype that we're gonna see in this video.
Practically the strongest in their series because I feel like they tend to have a lot of the problems I have with this trope. When we see a character like Gojo or Yamamoto, we see them with such absurd abilities that no one can rival besides the main antagonist. And side note, in 1000-Year Blood War, it's clear that Yamamoto actually isn't the strongest, but prior to the war arc, he was portrayed to be up there in strength. However, problems arise.
Man, but this guy is the highest in the hierarchy of Shinigamis, so he needs to be the strongest.
That's because of their strength. When you write such a strong character that's not your MC, you can't just leave them in the story because they can just solve any conflict themselves. Aizen knew that Yamamoto probably could have beaten him before he fused with the Hogyoku if he decided to just go all out and burn everyone there from the start. Fake Ghetto knew that a single red from Gojo will rearrange his guts thoroughly. Maybe I'm just salty because a lot of these characters like Yamamoto or Gojo tend to be
I love Yamamoto.
my favorites in the show. Like when Yamamoto said,
Bankai, Sanka no Tachi. Yeah, this guy's so cool.
Moments in the show.
Man, this episode is so incredible. Well done.
But once you see
this episode is incredible.
There's a lot, you notice a pattern or at least a certain trend. Either the villain has some sort of backup plan to incapacitate said strong character, like Wonder Wise or the Prison Realm, they get horrifically nerfed or nerfed in some type of way, or they get written off in a way that seems a bit scuffed. Now I know I said I'm mainly focusing on the side characters who are extremely strong, but an antagonist like Madara is a good example of what happens to overpowered characters. It was made quite clear who was the top guy during the war arc, and that guy was Madara. He was embarrassing all 5 Kages with ease, and then they gave him a 10 Tails power up on top of that. He was so outrageous.
Yeah, he gets too strong.
Strong that even the author Kishimoto jokingly mentioned that he may have made Madara too strong, and that's likely the reason why we got Black Zetsu.
Yeah,
so,
he needed to nerf him.
Unless the MC is showing insane progress,
Ichigo in that form is so strong.
and just power clips the strongest character, you always know that the strongest character is probably gonna have to get shelved for a little bit. The trope doesn't remove how much I enjoy the character.
You can't even count Goku. Goku is overpowered in every time.
Yamamoto, Madara, Gojo, they'll always be GOATs in my heart. But having that looming feeling, knowing that one of your favorites has to be nerfed or shelved to allow the story to have some sort of conflict can be a bit annoying. Also, you gotta listen to people calling them frauds because they had to get sealed.
Yes, they needed to nerf Madara because he was so fucking broken. It was impossible.
And to be honest, that's a topic for a whole different video because I've heard people call Yamamoto a fraud because he lost to Yu-Hawk. Yamamoto is the furthest thing away from a fraud. Hold up, before you move on, if you're new and you got this far, you might as well subscribe. I like to drop content like this weekly.
I'm gonna subscribe.
Anyways, back to the video. Next up we have the pervy character.
No, this one I hate. This one I hate.
Character, and depending on the extent of the trope, it can be fine. But some of these characters,
my favorite Boku no Hero character is Mineta.
Just start acting like pure degenerates and do nothing else.
This is my favorite character.
And let me be honest with y'all real quick. It's hard being a Sanji fan sometimes. You know, I already got to listen to Zoro fans chatting about Sanji being 4th on the crew or saying that he's worse than Zoro. And you know, I can typically sleep well at night knowing that Sanji...
Zoro is stronger than Sanji. This is even a debate to me. Zoro is considerably stronger than Sanji. I like Sanji more, but I have to admit, Zoro is fucking broken compared to Sanji, man.
He's still one of the best written characters in terms of development and backstory. Then...
yeah, Sanji's really strong, but Zoro, come on.
Every good thing I was just thinking about gets eviscerated.
The guy uses a sword in his mouth. What the fuck, bro?
Being written out of the...
Can you be more broken than this
story because you were that excited is ridiculous. Your nose was really bleeding that much because of some mermaids. If Fishman Island was getting released in 2023, the amount of slander Sanji fans would go through would be outrageous. They might just get ostracized from the community, who knows? To be honest, any scene when Sanji is just simping over Nami or Robin can get a bit extra at times too.
Yes, and Sanji didn't even get pussy until now. Yeah.
Chivalry aspect of his character.
So pathetic because he's trying to get women every fucking episode and he never gets laid.
But when every 5 seconds Sanji has hard eyes and panting like a dog because he saw
this is the reason why. Who would fuck this guy?
Woman, you can start to understand why this trope is so...
Man, what the fuck? Come on.
5 seconds Sanji has hard eyes and panting like a dog because he saw a woman. You can start to understand...
This guy is drilling over even... this guy... even furries.
And why this trope is so unpopular. I guess Oda had to nerf his character somehow. I feel like there's low-key a spectrum when it comes to these types of characters. On the lower end, you got someone like Toto, who's not even really a pervy character. He just be asking you about your type of woman for some reason. But that's not even his main thing for real. Then there are the classy old pervy guys like Roshi or Jiraiya.
Man, Jiraiya is so strange because when you think about it, Jiraiya was asking Naruto as a 12-year-old kid. He was asking him to turn himself into a woman, naked woman. He's like, He was perving over a 12-old boy.
Don't lie, Roshi was
12-year-old boy to become a woman.
low-key bugging at times. Who are
This
goated
guy was
characters, but do
weird.
slash say some questionable things as comic relief.
106 centimeters.
On the extreme side, we have
Yeah,
someone
this
like
is funny.
Mineta, and I don't even hate this character like other people do. He's just extremely weird. These are the type of guys getting walked like dogs in real life and enjoying it. I feel like the only way this type of character
She
can
wants to
actually
know about my
quote-unquote
balls.
work is if it's purely comic relief and it doesn't turn into criminal activity or take away from the actual character. This last one I want to cover real quick is something we're all familiar with. It's this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy. After Kirito and Sword Art Online, I felt like every year these black-haired MCs
Yeah,
kept
this guy
popping
becomes
up. As
really
soon as you see
broken.
a character look like this, you know it's probably some generic isekai. If you see the main character look like this, I advise you to turn away because you're about to watch straight mid for 12 episodes.
I think 70% of isekai main characters are like that.
I don't want to hear any ifs, ands, or buts. This is an MC and you just decide to give him one of the most generic faces of all time. The face is starting to get a bit frustrating too because I see it so much. Like at least make his hair red or something. I hope you guys enjoyed the video.
I didn't know this channel. This channel is really good. Yes, I subscribe to it. It's a really good channel. Congrats, man. You have a great channel.